Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at in the world and you're watching this on YouTube. Glad to have you here. My name is Donovan Saadiq. I'm known as the Recovering Democrat. Locally, I'm known as the IE Informer, Inland Empire Informer, and welcome to the show. Just want to inform you guys that recently, Gavin Newsom signs California Legislative Black Caucus priority bills, including a formal bipartisan apology for the state's role in slavery. So for all of you people who skipped out on history class, maybe skipped out on California history or whatever, I went to a DOD school, so we didn't have particular states requirements, and you skipped out on that type of stuff. California had a role in slavery, and their role in slavery was facilitating slavery. So if you were a slave owner and you moved to California, California helped you facilitate maintaining your slaves. So please stop talking ignorant if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You got a smartphone in your hand, for Christ's sakes. Use it. California had a role in slavery. So there it is. Governor Newsom signs the apology bill, which is a total bullshit bill. And we're going to talk about that real quick. And I'm going to read a little bit off to you a little bit as we go. Please forgive me. I'm coming off a flu. I took my flu shot. If you haven't taken a flu shot and you need to take one, please do. A good example of those that need to take it, if you're an older person, and you should take it if you're a younger person, because it will help you down the line. And I know today where people don't want to get vaccinated and all this other stuff, and you know, that's your right to do what you have to do. But do know that thousands of people die every year because of the flu. It's just the way it is. And I got my vaccination. When I was in the military, you have to take it. It's mandatory. Nothing you can do about that. When I got out of the military for 10 years, I didn't want to take the flu shot because I'm deathly afraid of needles. But because of my medical condition now, I have to take the flu shot because I have a compromised system. So if I start sweating, which I'm starting to do right now, that's why. I mean, I'm still kind of out of it. But in my out of it time, I still get on my smartphone and I make my videos and I put up to inform you guys. So what does this mean for you guys in the 60th Assembly District? I'm going to read this for you guys real quick. and it says this. In Sacramento, joined by members of the California Legislative Black Caucus, Gavin Newsom, governor, signed a series of bills to address the legacy of racial discrimination in the state and advanced a host of issues important to black Californians. And those of you guys that don't know, and it's so sad that our seniors just do not want to educate themselves. Corey Jackson and the Black Caucus stopped reparations bill. And I'm going to define what reparations is supposed to be. Reparations is not supposed to be anything else but a cash payment or a remedy to like medical care, a remedy to, you know, fix somebody's, make them whole again, basically in the service of law. And as you guys know, I have an issue with Corey Jackson because he did not stop with the bullshit games. He did not advocate for black people. There are more black people homeless in California than any other group here. And the sad thing is, it's black women and children. And Corey Jackson and the black CBC stopped their own bill. They stopped their own bill that would have helped thousands of black people here in California. So Corey Jackson and the CBC, they have to go. And I'm going to read a little bit more about it for you guys, but I really wish our seniors would stop looking at a wolf in sheep's clothing, because that is what Corey Jackson is. He's a piece of shit. I said it. I know him. And I'm going to say it again. Corey Jackson, my assembly member, you're a piece of shit, because every other group stands for their people, and they bring tangibles to their people. And at this time in the United States, black people are falling farther and farther behind their counterparts. Do you guys realize that black people's wealth is no more than it was then at the end of the Civil War? That's a scary situation to be in, and we're, 150, 160 years removed from the end of the Civil War. Very scary. And you guys wonder why I'm upset. If you're not black like me, maybe, you don't give a damn. And maybe and you shouldn't. It's not your issue. You're getting tangibles. Your people deliver for you. Our people, they don't deliver for us. And because of that, Corey Jackson needs to be removed. And every black politician should be removed from the California Assembly. Every last one of them, because not one of them fought to put that bill for a vote. It doesn't matter if you are for reparations or against it. That bill should have gotten a vote, but you wanted to run cover for Massa Newsom. That's what you wanted to do, Corey Jackson. You're a piece of shit. So anyway, you guys, I'm Donovan Saadiq. I'm the Recovering Democrat. You can check me out on the Demetra K Show, Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You'll see Demetra and myself over there talking about different topics all around the world. Corey Jackson, we're going to make you famous, and we're going to make sure everybody knows you're a piece of shit from the 60th Assembly District. Tangibles. We need tangibles. I don't give a damn about no damn apology. So let's get into it. As requested, AB 3089, the Jones-Sawyer, which passed the legislature with bipartisan and unanimous support, the governor also signed an accompanying formal apology for California's historical role in the perpetuation of slavery and its enduring legacy. I can't have that. I can't say it. And then, they got the little photo ops going, and they think they've actually done something. And what's really sad is the black women that stand up there that have children and know the history of slavery and what has happened to black people. We are the only group in the United States that is here involuntarily. We did not wish to come here. We were forcibly brought here. We're the only group that was raped, mangled, forced to work and build this nation. And we can't get tangibles and get what is owed to us. So we're going to get into it. So I don't want to listen to what Gavin Newsom is. He's a piece of shit too. This is from the chairman, Lori D. Wilson. She's a piece of shit. As chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, I am deeply grateful for Governor Newsom for signing this critical set of reparations bills, which have been key priorities for our caucus. These bills lay a meaningful foundation to address the historic injustices faced by black Californians. I want to extend my sincere thanks, Massa, to my fellow caucus members and the advocacy leaders who have championed this effort. This is a multi-year effort, and I look forward to continuing our partnership with the governor on this important work in the years to come as we push toward lasting justice and equity. Wait a minute. The Asians got what they wanted to get. The illegals get what they want to get. No study, no nothing. The money's just given. Why is it that when it comes to black people, we get symbolism? Why didn't they apologize to the Hispanics? Why didn't they just apologize to the Asians? Why didn't they just apologize to the Jews? No, we're supposed to take the apology and get nothing. And get nothing. Let's read on. She's a piece of shit. Assemblymember Reginald Byron Jones Sawyer. He's a piece of shit. Here are the overview of key bills. Addressing food and medical deserts. How does addressing food and medical deserts put food in my family's mouth and money in my pocket? Strengthening protections against discrimination. How you going to do that? How you going to do it? Strengthening protection. What, you're going to put a force field around people so they don't be discriminated against? People are going to be discriminated against because that's just how it is. People are different. People have biases. Combating maternal health disparities. Combating it. What does it mean? What are you going to do? I'm going to read on that one. And this is Lori Wilson's thing that she added, requires hospitals to report compliance information and authorizes the Attorney General to enforce against hospitals that are out of compliance with existing law, requiring prenatal healthcare workers to complete anti-bias training. How does that combat maternal health disparities? Symbolism. Increasing access to literature in prisons. Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, piece of shit, mandates the Office of the Inspector General to post and review the list of banned books in state prisons promoting access to literature for incarcerated individuals. Why is it that black issues always come down to some kind of criminality? If you're in prison, everybody's treated the same. You're incarcerated. And that's supposed to be a win for symbolism. That's not a win. Not every black person is going to jail. That's a small smidgen of our population. Formally apologizing for slavery affirms California's recognition of the harms caused by chattel slavery and issues a formal apology, which will be memorialized with a plaque in the state capitol. Are they serious? Bill Clinton already did a formal apology that covers all the states. We're going to have a plaque now. $5 million of your tax dollars, 4 years of study, and at the end of all of this, you are no more better off now than you were then, and they're going to give you a plaque and say, we're sorry. Every other group, they get money. Didn't the Asians get $26 billion? Didn't Kamala Harris make sure that her Asian brothers and sisters got $26 billion as well as a hate crime bill? But that's on the federal level. We're talking in general when we're dealing with reparations bills and how the disparity between blacks and other groups. Addressing employment discrimination, preschool access, and college and career financial aid. The governor signing the law will address employment discrimination, provide more opportunities for child care providers to become California state preschool contractors, increase college and career financial support for foster youth, and increase foster youth financial support. So you're basically saying most black people, children are in foster care and, we're just, that bad, whatever. I'm not saying that's not a bad gesture, but that can cover everybody that's in foster care. That's not specific to black people. The state is establishing the designation of California Black Serving Institutions to recognize higher education campuses that excel in providing resources and support to black students. Not everybody goes to college. Most people are not college ready. And as people are finding out, just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you're not going to flip burgers at In-N-Out Burger. You're not going to make that big job. That was one of the biggest lies ever told to the generations after the baby boomers. That's one of the biggest scams ever told. That's why so many people are in debt, student debt. Once signed by representatives from all branches of government, California will join other states, including blah, 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 in issuing formal apologies for their role in slavery, acknowledging historical injustices and the ongoing impacts of racial discrimination. It's a joke. This is a joke. It's a joke. And this is the reparations bill that 4 years of waiting, we've got nothing but symbolism and a plaque. This is what the bill is. You can look it up, Google it. It breaks it down. It means absolutely nothing. Assemblymember Dr. Akilah Weber, another female. Discrimination, race, hairstyles. Symbolism. Symbolism. There is nothing in this bill that is monetary, even though the study does recommend monetary compensation. So let's go back to what reparations is supposed to be. All that stuff is good and great, but it's symbolism. It doesn't change black people's situation for a debt that is owed. They just basically kicking this down the can. They all need to go. Okay. According to the International Court of Justice, the World Court, reparations refers to the measure taken to redress violations of international law by providing compensation, restitution, rehabilitation, satisfaction, or other forms of remedy to victims of human rights abuses or serious violations of international humanitarian law, with the goals of restoring them as much as possible to their situation before the harm occurred. Essentially, it is the legal obligation of a responsible party to make amends for damage caused to the victim. That's it. Key points about reparations. So they're going to give you forms of reparations. This is from the World Court. Reparations can include both individual and collective measures, addressing the needs of the affected communities as well as individual victims. Forms of reparation: restitution, returning property, or restoring a situation to its previous state where possible. Compensation, which is the most common form of reparations. They didn't go to the Asians and say, hey, we're going to give you some, and I don't want to be stereotypical, but they didn't go to the Asians and say, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of dry cleaning stores. They didn't do that. They gave them money. No study, no nothing. Back in the 1940s, 50s, whatever it was, $40,000 to them and their surviving ancestors, whatever, in the 80s, whenever it was. Gave it to their surviving ancestors. Compensation, monetary payment to the victim for damages suffered. Rehabilitation, measures to assist victims in rebuilding their lives, such as medical treatment or psychological support. Satisfaction, symbolic acts like apologies or recognition of wrongdoing. So an apology is fine, but the most common form of reparations that has been used by other groups, and it has already been done in the United States, codified in law, is cash payment. And you did that with the Asians, you did that with the Jews, and you did that with the Asians again. Cash payments. Proportionality. The level of reparations awarded should be proportional to the severity of the violations and the harm suffered by the victims. Most economists have said the minimum reparations to ADOS blacks, descendants of slaves, is between $14 trillion and $17 trillion. That's the minimum that's been estimated. Legal basis. The right to reparations is established under international law, including the UN Charter and customary international law, which the United States is a founding member. Yeah. So there you have it. And a little amendment to there. There are several systems in international law relating to the concept of reparations for the harm suffered by the victims of grave violations of human rights and IHL. The following forms of reparations exist: restitution, compensation, rehabilitation, satisfaction, and guarantees of non-repetition. The most common form of reparations in the United States is cash reparations that has been established in law as cash reparations, cash payment. So an apology is great, but it has to be cash payment. So there it is. We did not get that. $5 million of your tax dollars was spent to get an apology and a plaque. And that's it. But billions of dollars can be spent for illegal migrants invading the United States. No questions asked. Housing, food, shelter, you name it, they get that. But black families, single mothers with their children, are the most homeless and unhoused in California, and we just got an apology. Corey Jackson, you're a piece of shit. I'm Donovan Saadiq. I'm the recovering Democrat. This is where we're at, you guys. These black assembly members all need to be fired. Please like, share, and subscribe on your platforms. Donovan Saadiq, the recovering Democrat. Don't forget to see me on the Dimitri K Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, don't forget to tune into the Dimitri K Show as well. She's on the African Diaspora News Channel, and if you guys can do us a favor and you want to know what's going on around the African diaspora, please download the African Diaspora News Channel app. I'm Donovan Saadiq. Corey Jackson, I'm not done with you. If you are a member of the 60th Assembly, do not vote for Corey Jackson. He's a piece of shit.
Every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.